And good morning. Welcome to Quilt Chat. We're back in the studio.
Yay!
Or I'm back. You were here last week.
Welcome
You
home.
like to travel, don't you?
Well, yes, and we don't much like coming home with laryngitis, though.
Well, we
Yes.
missed you last week.
Yes.
Well, I watched the program, though, and it was fun to see Rebecca here with you.
Yes.
We had a
she's
great time.
Lovely little local artist. So much fun.
Yes.
Well, today we have a great program for you. We're going to talk a little bit about gifts. You know, we're coming into the holiday season, and so we sort of have some holiday colors in our quilts here today for Halloween. But Ann, you're going to kick us off with some stuff in the magazine.
Well, I get so excited every time a new issue comes out because this is the issue, the November issue, that should be in your mailbox. You should have just received it in the last week or so. One of the things I'm super excited about is Charlie Harper's Cool Cardinal. This is a applique pattern for a design created by Carrie Duke, but it's done by Charlie Harper from some of his modernist art, and I don't know if you're familiar with that, but he does some really, really unique designs. I'll show you a couple more of, there's a whole biography about Charlie Harper on this page. You might recognize some of these kinds of things. So that is a really unique applique that you can put on pretty much anything. Now, we also have a gift idea that is a pillow. Now, if you've never made faux cathedral windows, it's a good way to learn how to do that. It's quick, it's easy for a gift. We show you how to do that. And then we've also got a very unique mini accordion wallet. Now, this wallet, the picture maybe doesn't show up as well there as it will whenever you get the magazine, but I want to give you a little hint about this, and that is that on the template page, okay, you need to make this 200% enlargement. However, you can take it larger and larger and larger and make it as big of a little bag as you want. The way that it is, it will turn out to be about the size of a credit card
But
holder.
it could be like a billfold
But it could be
size.
a billfold size or even a clutch bag.
That would
Just
be so
keep
cool.
keep
Make it
enlarging
adorable
until it's till it makes you happy. So those are some good gift projects that you can do, getting ready for the holiday season. And you know how I know it's the holiday season, besides the fact that we started the Christmas countdown.
Yes, we have.
Yes.
We started really early this year.
I also heard just today that Hallmark Channel has started Christmas movies. So you know that it's coming
holiday season.
down the line to Christmas.
It is. Now stick around because we're going to talk about doing some shipping of these gifts. But Betsy, you've got some more things to tell us about things they need to make sure they do.
Yes. If you go to AQSblog.com and you want to visit there, and we have over 533 free patterns available for you with lots of great gift ideas. From one end of it to the other, so you can find quilts and little quilt projects, all the way to table runners, wall hangings, embroideries, everything.
Another good gift idea is kits.
Oh, kits make a great.
I think it
gift
would be
idea.
great to
Yes.
get a excuse me, to give a kit or to make a kit. That's an easy way to have it all ready for you, all the colors coordinated and
Everything
everything.
goes together.
It would be fun to get a kit too.
Get
wouldn't
a
it?
kit.
Yes,
It would.
Both ways.
Yes.
Both ways.
That is. And we also have a survey going on right now about quilt labels.
Yes, it is.
And so the link is in the description. So be sure to hit that and give us your opinion on if you quilt label, don't quilt label, how you quilt label. And we'll come back with you next week with all of the answers in On Point on Wednesday.
Good.
And so let everybody know how that's going.
And so they'll find that survey if they go to aqsblog.com.
They do, or the link for it, you can go directly to it, is in
From
the
On
description
Point.
for our show today. So they're on
Oh,
Facebook right now.
good.
If you look in the description, it's right there for you.
Okay, great.
Yes, yes.
Well, yes, and you know what? We all make our labels slightly different. And
do.
flip over the corner of this one because one of the options that was on there was just signing the back of the quilt. And this quilt was made by Kimberly Einmo, and it's called
Yes.
Trail to Paducah. And she was downsizing because she's making a big move to the West Coast. And so I bought this quilt for my collection.
Oh, cool.
Yes, so it's a fun little piece, and it would be a one that would be pretty easy to make for a gift as well.
Kimberly said that she made this for a class for Quilt Week.
Yeah, it was a mystery class,
Mystery
I
quilt.
think. Would have
Yeah,
been fun,
that
wouldn't
was
it?
So cute.
Now, we
I
think
love
it's
fabric.
really unique because there are funny little witches and cats and things.
And lots of sewing stuff.
And the backing fabric,
Says witchy.
it has, the word witchy, but it's also got patterns and rulers. It would be a great gift for a sewing person. So it's a good thing that you got it, Bonnie.
I know.
I think it
Stitchy
fits.
witchy.
I know. Well, she thought that I needed to have this when I was looking at her quilts. Because we're from Paducah, and this was
Sure.
called Trail to Paducah. And I just want to mention the quilt behind me, or behind us, is another quilt in my collection, and it was made by Margaret Miller. And you know, she does such unique settings with her quilts. So when I'm looking for quilts to add to my collection, I always want to use something that I can use in my border class to show people something a little bit different, and that
Right.
was
And
one
that
of them.
is a really cool, it's like a piano key variation.
And if
I
you
love
want to
it.
pick up some quilts for your own collection, I suggest that you come to the auction at Paducah in the Spring Paducah Show that the Quilt Museum does, because that's where I picked that one up.
Oh, cool.
And usually I get at least one quilt a year there, but it's made me so I have a really wonderful collection of quilts.
Oh, that's nice.
That is great.
All right, so now, okay, we've got our quilt all finished and we're ready to ship it. So let's talk a little bit about some different ways that you can pack up your stuff. Hi, Linda Schmidt and Rosamond Corwin. Glad you joined us this morning. All right, so back to packing our quilts up. I have some photos that we've taken of some quilts that have been shipped to us. And the diagonal fold is what this particular picture is. And I will just tell you one thing, it's really hard for those creases to fall out when you do that diagonal fold. And so flip on to the next one. And this is one that folded it all the way down to a triangle. So she was trying to fit a small box, I think, with that one. And then you can also roll your quilt. And these are some rolled options that are, this one is rolled and then rolled into a snail. And the next one is rolled and kind of snaked to fit the box. But we're going to show you how we here at AQS fold the quilts when we ship them back to you, or you could use this same method to ship your quilts. Let's just take this particular quilt, and we need to find the top. You have the top.
This would be the top. There's a rod pocket.
Oh yeah, there is a rod pocket right here. And so when we fold our quilts, and I'm going to stand up because this will just make this whole process a little easier. And if you'll hand me the box.
The box.
We have a box.
I love props.
And so one of the things that we do is we fold the quilt right side out. And why would you do that? You do it because that puts the hardest crease. That first crease is the hardest one. It puts it on the back of the quilt instead of on the front of the quilt.
That's a little counterintuitive.
Yeah.
It
You,
is.
you want to fold to protect your quilt.
But the weight of the quilt usually will then help pull that crease that you do see there on the front.
Right.
That's
And
wonderful.
so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try, here I need the side of the box.
Which side?
It doesn't make any
Oh,
difference.
just against the.
Oh, okay.
All right, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how many folds do I have to have. And so you can see I need to fold this one into thirds to make that fit the box. And so what I'm measuring, let's kind of maybe turn it toward the camera here. What I'm measuring is the edge of the box and the quilt so that it will fold and fit in there perfectly.
Wonderful.
All right, so now I'm going to just turn my quilt and I'm going to just leave the box right there. And I'm going to do kind of like that snake fold was, but I'm going to fold it again and again so it fits this way. But you want that quilt to fit nicely so it fills the whole box. And
So
then
it doesn't jiggle around then.
it doesn't jiggle, but it also makes it so that you don't have to put more folds in it than is necessary.
Oh,
All right?
the larger the better.
Okay, so let's get rid of the box. Sometimes we like to do our quilts so they're on a tube.
I'm on it.
Drama.
She's right there. All right, and so our favorite tool for rolling a quilt is the noodle, the swim noodle. And so you can see that actually one person almost can do this all by themselves because it rolls right along that, and then it goes, and it's all ready then now to put in your tube.
You can find shipping tubes pretty easily too.
Yes, you know,
online.
UPS, FedEx have different triangle boxes and different
They
shaped
would fit
boxes.
in that too.
Some people use plastic, big heavy plastic stuff. But one of the things you need to make sure you do once you get to this point is it is so helpful if you'll have some salvages that are ties. And so if you'd had like 2 or 3 ties on this, it'll keep this all nice and compact.
Of a little bit, about an inch wide or so to keep it from making another crease.
It is. And then of course, you don't want to do anything with the quilt to put it in the box until you've put this in plastic. And you know, we've had some horror stories of boxes that have arrived here that the box was totally disintegrated because it got wet somewhere.
Right.
Sat on a dock, sat on a porch, sat somewhere. And so you always want to make sure that you put it in plastic. And the one thing I will tell you, we had somebody at the show, the last show we were at, did a tube, and they had this nice tube box. And after they were all done, they filled it with pellets.
Those little styrofoam peanuts?
Styrofoam peanuts. So
I bet that was fun.
Oh yes, we had to dump the whole box out, put the quilt in, and then put the peanuts back. So please don't use peanuts. Please don't use peanuts.
If you're sending a contest quilt,
So
right.
Bonnie, I have a question. Is it a lot more expensive to ship in a tube? Because I mean, I really like this. There's no creases.
Well,
So is this cost prohibitive at all?
I don't think
no,
so.
I don't think so. But we do charge an extra fee for special handling because literally everywhere along the way in our process of judging, there is special handling. Just to show you that at the shows, one of the tasks I do, and you guys know this, is that I take the team that rolls the tubes. The rest of our staff takes down the entire rest of the show, and we are just finishing
While the tubes,
Wow.
yes.
So it takes a lot longer, and because we don't do, they do the ones that go in the boxes. So they've already finished all of that, and we're still doing the tubes.
doing the tubes.
But you know, there are certain quilts that you would want to do on a tube. If you had a silk quilt, for instance, you don't want to get creases in that.
Or some of those highly embellished quilts.
That's right. The ones that have lots of things applied to them, and we get a lot of those.
We
Right.
do. We get some neat ones.
And there isn't anything that says if say we had embellishments on this quilt, I would probably use a piece of bubble wrap
Oh, that's a
and
great
put the
idea.
bubble wrap down first. Now your quilt goes face down into the bubble wrap, and now we roll it on the tube. And so now you've not only protected, you've made it so we
That's a
haven't put
great
creases,
idea.
Yeah.
but you've also protected any
All of your
embellishments.
That is so cool.
Well, we'll be all ready to
Amazing.
send our gifts this year and send contest quilts in too. So I hope that people who are watching will be able to get their quilts ready to. What are deadlines that are coming up? Do
We
you know
have one
offhand?
coming up shortly. The deadline for the Daytona Beach show is October 20th.
Oh,
So
that's a few days.
that's just a few days. And
Get that
so
binding on.
you can do all of that entry online. You can upload your photographs. Jose Rosamond Corwin says, awesome, you pronounced my name right. Sometimes we guess correctly, don't we?
Well, and Susan Oakes talks about this being traveling advice, and that's another thing. If you're traveling to take a quilt as a gift, you can keep it from getting squished.
All right, I have to disappear for 1 second.
Okay, where's she going?
That's all right. Oh, look, she brought us a present.
I brought something that I learned about this at one of our quilt shows from Chris Moline. We were going to do a TV gig to promote the quilt show, and Chris let us use one of her antique quilts. And she had it in a box like this, and of course the first thing that I said was, where did you get that?
Yes.
Well, I want to show you just a little bit about it because it's perfect for your quilts. It even has corners in here that have holes so that it's breathable, and it zips so that you can
Oh, wonderful.
you can see that I've started to store my quilts. Now, okay, I've done something a little special here. Do you see how this quilt ended right here? I started the next quilt right at that point to be able to fold it so that you're making this
Oh,
whole
right.
thing is level then, and you can store a lot of quilts in one of these. Now, it came from IKEA. We do not have IKEA here in Paducah, so I ordered these online. But it is $5.
No!
$5.
That's remarkable, yeah.
So when you have to buy a gift for somebody in your guild, or if you have some kind of a gift exchange, it comes all knocked down and the sides of this kind of fold in. So it's really only this size, just the edge size. And on the bottom, there's,
There-
wrong way. On the-
Stabilizers.
There are
and-
stabilizers that go in the bottom of it so that you just slide these in here and it makes you a hard bottom. I thought this was a wonderful tool for all of us quilters, and wouldn't it make a fun gift?
It would. Especially
really would.
it would especially if it had a quilt inside.
Oh yeah, that would be really nice.
When you give
wouldn't
me
it?
mine, Bonnie, would you put a quilt in it? Thank you.
Oh, yes. Well, and so we already said that Christine says, I've heard that you should when you send a quilt, you shouldn't write the word quilt on the box.
It's true.
That's absolutely true. If you ever see anything that we ship out, it only says AQS. So somebody who doesn't know who we are is not going to know that there's a quilt. The other thing that I do when I ship mine, I usually write that it's bedding. Who wants to steal some sheets? You know, if you have to say something. And here Kimberly Einmo says that's an awesome gift idea, Bonnie. And
So Kimberly's watching us.
we think so too. All right, so deadlines, October 20th is the deadline for the Daytona Beach show. And we will be opening registration for Daytona Beach on October 24th. So if you're a member, you're going to get an email with the link to be able to go get first chance at those classes. And we have some awesome teachers there. Or if you're not a member, you can still go join and you have time to get on that list so that you'll get the first notice of the classes.
And time to get your plane tickets, because who wouldn't want to go to Florida in February?
That's right. It's February 28th through March 3rd. And we're right there on the beach too. So if you want a beachy vacation, that's a good time.
That is perfect.
Well, so it's time for you to get busy sewing, and us too, right?
Right.
Yes, yes. And before you go, don't forget to go give us your opinion on quilt labels. The address
We'll report back next week.
That's right. For the survey is just in the description here on Facebook.
All right, and if you have some things you want us to talk about on Quilt Chat, don't hesitate to send us some ideas. We always love ideas, and we love sharing with you as well. So we'll see you next week, same time, same station.
That's right.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.